Well, I mean, shit had happened to me. I don't know if I've told this story. I'm sure I've told this story somewhere, like on a podcast or something. But so we have a piece of, and this kind of maps up with our story a little bit. So To the Stars has a piece of wreckage from a crashed craft in the 40s, purportedly, but we all the studies on it showed that it was pretty fucking, it was pretty artificial looking. It was pretty um, highly engineered at a metamaterial level, which is like kind of atomically made, and it looked to have some very unusual properties. So it went under contract with the U.S. Army, and then after that went on and was studied by the Congressional UFO Task Force and some of the national laboratories. So we're still in the middle of that. We have our own scientists going out to read the reports and see what they found versus what we already know about it. And so hope more on that later. But what is interesting is we were showing that piece in New York. We had like a penthouse in Manhattan that was kind of like a big commercial space where we rented a whole floor. And we only invited like 12 people. And these were actually just investors. This is when To the Stars Academy of Science was just starting. And these investors show up and it's a small talk. It's like me and my other government partners that are there, including Lou, that was over at the Pentagon with the UFO program, and Jim Simovan, which is CIA, and some others. Well, two people come up out of the elevator that weren't invited. They were Russians, and they were Russian spies. And they made it into our small little party. And I'm sitting there like in a suit, with our books, and probably had secret machines on a table and a bunch of stuff about the programs. And we were talking about, we had the piece there under a glass box with two armed guards. And these two Russian spies show up, and the reason I knew they were Russian spies is because they walk in with these thick Russian accents, and I knew that they weren't invited. So I look at Jim, my partner, who is like one of the senior level spies at CIA, and I was like, "The fuck are these guys?" His face just kind of dropped, and he just walks right away from me. Tells the guys to stand in front of them at peace with their guns. Don't let these two guys anywhere near it. Lou was already giving the speech. So Lou notices these guys, and Lou's talking to the other 12 people. They're in chairs, and he's kind of at a little podium. And so Lou does this little thing with his phone. He's like, for example, everyone shut off your phones. I want to tell you something about your phone. And he did that during his speech on a whim to see if the Russian in the back would turn off his phone, which he didn't because the guy was recording the entire thing. And the other guy disappeared. So Jim is walking around trying to figure out where this other guy went because we're in this massive kind of commercial space. We don't know where the guy went. He's checking the bathroom stalls and everything. And right before Lou's finished with his speech, the Russian turns off his phone and walks out back to the elevator. The other guy shows up, who knows where he was at, and they get in the elevator and leave. And I asked Jim, I was like, how the fuck did that happen? And what is going on? And Jim goes, yeah, what do you say? They're on what we call the cocktail circuit. They just cruise around and they just gather up information on the important shit in town. And this is obviously extremely important because we have a piece that's potentially from a crashed, UAP. And we have guys that ran the program and guys that are senior level management at CIA all in this one room, and how this kind of maps up with Trinity is that, there is a Soviet spy involved in the story, because they were embedded in society around all the nuclear tests and the important military bases. And their job is to go be on the cocktail circuit and to gather information. And if something ever needed to happen, they would be the ones called on to do it, So it kind of gives you a lay of the land in the nuclear age, and the Cold War.
Mhm.
Those things existed. They existed in my life, but they exist even more so then.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, because it's something that has come up a few times recently. Because as we said at the start, you and I have been talking for 10 years. The conversation nationally, internationally has changed quite a bit within that 10-year span in terms of, the attention and the seriousness with which people discuss UAPs and congressional hearings and all that sort of stuff. To what extent do you think you have been a part of that
Oh
shift?
gosh. Um, I literally feel responsible for starting it, you know, and I don't say that from an ego point of view at all. I'm saying it because I'm the greatest man that's ever lived. No, I'm just joking. But I literally feel that I did, in this because I know what happened and what I went through to get to all these little things that did it, you know, like I remember the very, very beginning moments of me talking to people and pitching things and flying by the seat of my pants and manipulating just to get people kind of to back me up. And next thing you know, I'm with the people that matter. And then I meet a bunch more people that really matter, and then those people are now involved over at Congress and getting people briefed and getting committees briefed, and so all the things that are happening or that happened over the past few years, like on the news, and getting Congress to know what's going on and getting the open hearings and all that kind of shit. I didn't do that stuff, but the reason all that stuff happened was because my guys got that stuff to happen, and my guys only came aboard because I did the things before them that gave them a platform to attach to actually, as a group, we can all get something done,
Mm.
um, more powerfully, you know. But and the crazy thing is like I never thought about it till this moment, but like that is something really cool about Western society and governments and stuff. Like we actually I spirited change, you know, I really from a grassroots level, like the most classified, the most secret, the most locked away information that has ever existed. A punk rock kid with a skateboard, you know, was able to create enough waves that got more people on the boat to get that thing sailing and make some
Mm-mm.
change.
Hey, you made it to the end. Here, take a seat. I'm doing this collecting and cutting work on my free time, and the reason why is I'm convinced of its importance. We are occupying this planet at this moment, and we are building our lives on nameless heroes' achievements, who died to protect what they believe in. We would still be ruled by kings, and there would be no freedom of spirit if it wasn't for them. 82 people in 2 days is not gonna change the world, and frankly, it's not enough. If you think the content was good, consider subscribing and telling your friends about UAP Library. I get excited every time someone appreciates my work, and that keeps me going. See you on the next video.